Oh, I cannot wait for Mexico. I am gonna eat so many tacos. Hello? Mattia Bonotto, how are you, mate? You want to congratulate me for my strategy in Austin? Mate, I was horrible. K-Mag was so far behind I had to retire the car. Well, I'm glad I'm an inspiration to somebody. Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Kicking Haas. And today, after we had our Haas kicked in Austin, if we're honest with ourselves, we have the Mexican Grand Prix. There are 3 races to go, and well, we've got K-Mag taking engine penalties today, which is not ideal, but it will mean he has a fresh engine and will be able to get to the end of the season from here. Now, we do have a few things to catch you up on as well. If we look at drivers, we can see Logan Sargeant has a development point. What do we want to do with that? Probably cornering. I think we probably want him to be faster, and then we can worry about attacking and defending. I think adaptability. There's a lot of things that need work here, but it's fine. We'll get him there. We'll get him there. So that is that. I don't think anybody else has no experience points to be added. Now, the other thing that, as I said, what's happening is with K-Mag's car, we have taken engine penalties. This is going to be if we go to change, so you can see he's got 4 engines, none of which are particularly great, so we'll stick in a new one. That'll get him through to the end of the season from here, and he should be sweet to go. And yeah, again, he'll have a good car for Mexico and Brazil, which are both very power dependent. So that is that. There's not too much else to catch you up on, to be honest. The facilities are all as they were. Actually, I think the helicopter, the helipad, we needed to refurbish that, so we've upgraded it instead. It's operational, isn't it, helipad? Yeah. So that'll be a level 5 one once it goes through. We can see Weather Center and Tour Center as well are in the middle of an upgrade. So let's not waste any time. Let's head off to well, Mexico City here. We'll see what we're doing. We're expecting a dry weekend. Actually, look at that, dry and 25 degrees all weekend. We can see the sectors there: red for the first, blue for the second, and yellow for the third for qualifying. Sections by speed. A little bit like Austin, it's sort of a little bit of everything, but sort of less so. It's more sort of slow speed traction. It's just sort of this part of the track where it really is more high speed and flowing corners. So car attributes, we should be okay because low speed corners, our car is pretty good. Expected strategies, a 1-stop is, well, the preferred. You can do a 2-stop. We'll probably do 1-stop, to be honest. We'll see how we go. And if we are to do a 2-stop, actually, it'll probably be we'll probably look to do medium, soft, and hard. So we won't need to save any tires necessarily. So let's have a look at our performance targets. Qualifying position of a 12th. We should be reaching Q2. That should be a given at this point for somebody. And we'll go and we'll get into Q3 with K-Mag. Finishing position. So we're looking to get 12th. I just don't think fastest lap is something that's realistic for us right now. And then a qualifying streak of both cars in the top 14. So both cars now, and then the finishing, we need somebody in the top 14 to get our money for that one as well. So it's going to be a dry race. Let's head off to Mexico. So there we go, confirmation of the weather for the weekend. I'm going to go do free practice. I will see you for qualifying, and hopefully we're going to have ourselves a much better race than we did last time out in Austin. Okay, so free practice is done, and it's a bit of a mixed bag. If we look at the results, you may notice 1 or 2 people have penalties. It's not just K-Mag, it is slightly ridiculous. But FP1, K-Mag was 7th, Sargeant was 12th. Now, Sargeant without penalties could just about find himself on the front row here, I think. If we go to FP2, we can see K-Mag was 2nd. I'm not really sure how or why, because it's not... We've been nowhere near that ever since. And you can see there's Sargeant down there in 14th. And if we go to FP3, you can see somewhat concerningly perhaps Magnussen in 12th and Sargeant in 14th. Now, I'd love to say it's because setups and whatnot, but it's really not. Yeah, there's a good penalty for K-Mag of 10, but if everybody's taking similar penalties, it should be fine. K-Mag's got 100% confidence setup, 95% for Sargeant, so we'll see how we do. I'd like to think both cars get through Q1 here, and hopefully at least Magnussen into Q3. All right, and here come the Haasers out onto the Mexico City track. Hopefully we're going to be quick. Alright, so we're coming around for our second run in Q2. Sargeant is currently in 13th, K-Mag in 9th, but it is very, very close, as you can see, between K-Mag in 9th. I mean, you've got Zoe behind him and not far back, and then all the way up to 6th place with Gasly. It is very, very, very close. So we'll see what we can do here. We are the last 2 cars on track as ever. Part of that is not just down to good management on my part, but the fact we're at the end of the pit lane and everybody goes past before we get a chance to go out. So which is fine. You'd rather be last in qualifying But of course, in the race, that's where it comes back to bite us sometimes, when we get held to avoid an unsafe release. But checkered flag is out. We've got green sector 1 for Sargeant. We've got a green sector 1 for Magnussen. So, or everybody behind us is doing faster times. Someone has jumped ahead of us there. Was it Russell? I'm not sure who it was, but somebody has put Sargeant as the man at risk here. Let's see what he can do in the second sector. Both Williams have finished their lap, so they're not going to be going past us. Tsunoda has finished his lap. He's not going past us. So it's up to Vettel and Stroll now. And they are just coming through the stadium section. You can kind of see the Aston Martin green there. I think it's British Racing green, isn't it? Not Aston Martin green, but you know what I mean. So it looks as though Magnussen hasn't been faster in the middle sector, but one Alfa Romeo, both Aston Martin, both Aston Martins have finished. So Sargeant is safe. It's just a matter of whether he can jump himself up a couple of places here. No, he cannot. And Magnussen stays 9th as well. So confirmation of the qualifying 1 results. Perez and Leclerc without penalties to the fastest. And then, well, I mean, Sargeant is the 5th fastest without a penalty. So depending what sort of penalties they are, you know, he could go way, way up the grid here. Okay, so we are coming around for our second run in Q2. Sargeant is currently 11th and Magnussen 6th. Now, Sargeant, I think, got held up a little bit by, I think it was Norris on his first lap, just coming into the stadium section. But I suspect a lot of those cars behind us may have found a similar problem because, oh, that's a lockup. So Sargeant's out, and K-Mag should be safe. We're not worried so much about Sargeant now because he is, as I say, he is done. And Magnussen should be safe. But of course, there's cars behind that could be quicker. I mean, if you look at relevant to their teammates, so Ricciardo could move up. Where's Russell? Hamilton could move up. Both the Alpines are in the drop zone. And then Gasly as well. We know Gasly has been quick, as it's a green first sector for K-Mag. I wonder, Sargeant, we might as well just call him in. There's no point continuing the lap, really. Yeah, so let's see what K-Mag do. Coming up to get a second sector time here. It's another green, so he's going faster. Russell has not gone faster than him. Russell is out. Guan Yu Zhou and Alonso are both behind him still. So we should be okay here. I mean, the interest is maybe Sargeant. Can he? No, he goes to 15th. So that's a massive shame because with penalties, if he could have got himself ahead of, say, Ricciardo or someone, that might have worked out nicely. But Magnussen goes 8th. So confirmation of Sargeant eliminated 15th, of course, with penalties to come. Now, some of these may just be gearboxes, but you'd imagine there's going to be a few engines in there, so he should move up a little bit. There's only, I mean, he's going to start ahead of Magnussen in all likelihood, and there's only 3 guys in the top 10 that aren't taking penalties here, so it's going to be a very mixed up grid. Alright, we've missed the start of K-Mag's lap because I hit the wrong button, but he's just coming down the front straight. He's currently sitting 6th on a used set of tyres. That lap was done, but you see Verstappen and Sainz are behind him. I suspect that they are both faster cars, and indeed those guys and the 2 Alfa Romeos behind us have gone green first sectors. We're not actually last car on the track. Leclerc pipped us to that this time, but let's see, it is a green first sector. And let's see who's in front of us here. Is it Gasly maybe? Norris, its time is not showing. So the guys behind us are definitely going full. Verstappen has not done a personal best in the middle sector. Could we find ourselves ahead of him on the grid? Bottas will be behind us. Now, of course, this is all before penalties. So we have qualified or out-qualified on pace both the Alfa Romeos. Someone's gone ahead of us there. That's Sainz, which is expected. Verstappen has also gone ahead of us, which is expected. Now, can we get ahead of Gasly and or Norris is perhaps the big question. Gasly doesn't have penalties, so he'll be starting in front of us anyway. But of course, the higher up we can get, that is penalty positions that we don't have to serve. Obviously, if we start 6th, we start from a higher point for the penalties. And if we start 8th, but we'll be starting 8th. So there are the pre-penalty grid positions. And yeah, well, we'll see how this shakes out when we get to the actual race. Now, in terms of strategy, so we've got Sargeant starting 9th and Magnussen 11th. So he hasn't actually dropped back too badly. What do we do? I mean, if it's a one-stop, it's a one-stop. The tyres seem to last all day. Could we even do soft to hard? Potentially. I'm wondering what a hard to soft would look like. So if we... start on the hard and go onto a soft, it's a little bit more marginal. But of course, we could always, if there's a safety car, go into a medium. No, I think if we're going to do it, I think if we start on a soft, try and stay as high up the field as we can. Yeah, because if you're doing medium to hard, you're not utilizing the soft tire unless you want to come in at the end, right? Am I not thinking that through correctly? So looking up here at the estimated race time, it is a little bit slower, but not much to do soft to medium, soft to hard. Sorry. So we might stick K-Mag on this strategy. Then what you can do, of course, is we can push him on a little bit more. But I just wonder with Sargeant if that's maybe... yeah, mix it up a little bit. Let's go with that. We, of course, want to be on the ERS early on in the race. And we'll let K-Mag push on a little bit because he's got that little bit more tyre life than what Sargeant's going to have. Okay, welcome back. It is still a Ferrari Red Bull front row. Look at the Ferraris and Red Bull are still both up there. Everybody took penalties. So it sort of worked out even. Gasly in third. We don't want him finishing there, of course. They are our main opposition in terms of teams coming up behind us. And we'll stay on board with Sargeant here in ninth. Magnussen in 10th. Let's see if we can get through the first turn here without too many issues. We've got Bottas as at him alongside us, I think. We get one done there. Can we get a good run out onto the straight here with our softer tyres? Let's hope so. Tyres everybody else is on. A couple of people are starting on the softs, but not many. So this is going to be Sargeant's time to get moves done. And then, of course, he will naturally have an undercut on those going on starting on the mediums. And they'll be going onto the hard anyway. Now they'll have a fresher hard tire, and they'll be able to push it a little bit more. But hopefully Sargeant will find himself able to defend. Although that long front straight, the double dose of DRS as well down this. Well, it's not really a back straight, but whatever, side straight, I guess. It might be a little bit difficult to maintain position with cars behind you, but you never know. Maybe you can get himself in a DRS train and get himself a better result than he otherwise would do. And we've got Magnussen just one place back in the points on the, I guess, traditional strategy. And let's see if he can mop up Bottas down the front straight here. So it's... well, let's get things moving a little bit here. We'll just keep an eye on the ERS. We've got Bottas with Magnussen, so that is good. DRS will be available now, so we will just go back to neutral. Save as much of our ERS as possible, though it's not much, to be fair. It was pointed out in the comments, too, when we're overtaking, because I always just use deploy, because I figure it just makes us faster everywhere. But it's more strategic to use overtake, because you don't burn through as much of it, and the objective you have is to overtake anyway. Deploy is more if you're trying to close a gap or extend the gap. So whether I should do deploy off the start or not, I don't know. But again, my thought processes there is just be as fast as we can through the first few laps. Try and make up as much positions as we can until DRS is available. And then in theory, my theory anyways, that we're then in a DRS train and can just use DRS to keep up with cars that are potentially quicker than us. So whether that works out in practice or not, I guess more intelligent people than me will be able to find out, or be able to let me know, or will know the answer. But the logic in my head is relatively sound. I wonder if the time is coming to have Magnussen switch with Sargeant here. I mean, Sargeant's doing fine, but he just dropped out of the DRS, so maybe we might need to do that. Don't fight your teammate, just let him go. And hopefully now Magnussen can pull him along. Yeah, but we have dropped off the back of that DRS train, which is not ideal. As more cars coming to the pits to put on a hard tyre, I'm assuming. So maybe we're not going to get the undercut. Oh, and Magnussen.
Let's see what happened there.
We saw it from behind. He's just... Well, that was silly, wasn't it, K-Mag? He's going to have damaged his front wing as well. Alright, K-Mag, I guess you have to come in. How bad is the damage? Minor damage to the front wing. So we'll bring him in now. We need to fix the front wing. I mean, we could maybe get away with it, but there's no point, I don't think, not fixing it if we're coming in anyway. And yeah, that's all just a little bit silly. Yeah, that's how I feel too, K-Mag.
Yeah, my bad, sorry.
We've got a yellow flag. I don't think it's going to be a safety car, which is a bit of a shame. Ideally, a safety car there would have been good because he could have stopped under it. So I think we might extend... Oh no, Sargeant's still got a couple of laps before his ideal pit window. Magnussen comes back out in 13th. So he should still be in the points there, I think. Alright, we'll come in on our optimal lap. And the hard tyre can go all day, so we don't have to worry too much about it. Or can it? Okay, so K-Mag, if we go to standard... Why is his hard tyre not going the distance there? When...
Try to increase the pace a little bit.
What am I not seeing? Is he not... Okay, well, K-Mag's going to have to stop again, isn't he? If we look at that, let's go to standard. I don't understand why K-Mag's hard tyre is going to go nowhere near as far as Sargeant's. Or is Sargeant's hard tyre not going to go as far as we were hoping it would be? He's come back out in 9th, ahead of Tsunoda, ahead of Gasly, so he's where he needs to be. I'm to confused as to why K-Mag's hard tyre is not going to get there. Anyway, we'll leave it for now and see if maybe the wear on his it's not showing properly. We'll just have to play it by ear a little bit. Sargeant though in 10th. We've got some more stops taking place here. And he moves up to 8th. Magnussen 9th. Yeah, so I think it's just kind of as you were. We go as long as we can here. And if we get a safety car at some point, we will come in for a soft tyre if it's sort of within that window. But I just think we're going to have to let K-Mag pass. He is faster than Sargeant. And it doesn't make sense to keep him behind, really. Let's jump on board and we'll see when he gets close enough to make the switch. We'll make that. Yeah, I just want to be a little bit careful of the cars behind. I don't want to make it too easy. We might be looking at one more lap. Once we get DRS, it should be relatively simple down a straight. I'm just wondering if maybe we harvest. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 1. I don't see any cars stopped. Stroll's locked up. If we harvest with Sargeant, it might make it... he'll get more battery, obviously, and it might make it a little bit easier for K-Mag to just go past him down this front straight. So it looks like this is going to take care of itself naturally, I hope. There we go. We can go back to neutral. And K-Mag should be able to, relatively speaking, drive away from him now because he'll get DRS again. And we need him to now go after Gasly for all he's got. The Alpines have obviously put their attention to next season's car because they are suddenly way off the pace. They've lost out to Alfa Romeo. Now, I don't think we needed to catch 10 points a race but in the last 3 races to draw level with them. I don't think... Oh, Gasly's coming to the pits again. So there's quite a few people coming into the pits for a second time. Now, have they gone to a soft tyre? No, they haven't. A competitor crash. Now, is this safety car territory? It is a safety car. Okay, so we are going to be double stacking. Both cars are going to be coming in, and both cars are going to be putting on soft tyres. which should, with 20 laps to go, be more than good enough to get to the end, should they not? 35 laps, absolutely fine they are. And we did save, we want to be harvesting as well. We did save some soft tyres in qualifying. I always try and make sure we have at least one new set. Which is why I tend to do the set on the run on used tyres as well. So that is, well, this just got very, very interesting. Okay, so safety car is coming in. Everybody up to Magnussen in 11th is a lap, so we can't finish really any worse than 11th. Sargeant is in 8th, and if we look at tyres, if I've gone the wrong way there, haven't I? Nobody else is on a soft tyre unless they're a lap down. So this is looking very, very interesting indeed, as we just got a few lap cars to get past here. We're on board with Sargeant. We can see there that is an Alpine that is a lap down, so we don't have to worry about that necessarily. And we just need to, there we go, get the lap cars out of the way for us. And can we get Bottas here? He is on a hard tyre. We've got another lap Aston Martin here, so we just need to kind of get through this traffic as best we can. And then see how far up we can push ourselves. But there is about 14 laps to go, I think. 15, 14, something like that. It's going to be a very, very interesting lap end of the race for the Haas team. We've got cars in front here. Hamilton, Bottas, and Ricciardo. Can Sargeant put a move on? Now, well, the last thing we want here, of course, is for one of our guys to go and stick it in the wall. As Sargeant battles away there. We could probably get away with overtake, actually. See if we can move past these guys. As Magnussen moves himself up past Norris as well. But Sargeant could be on for P5 here. If he keeps it on the track, we can see Hamilton is right there. DRS is going to become activated. And, well, this should be a bit of a slam dunk down the straight here on Hamilton. I would imagine, although there's no DRS yet this lap. But no, not quite. And then after this, we're looking at Verstappen, Sainz, Leclerc, and Perez. So I don't think we have the pace of Ferrari and Red Bull even on a soft tyre. But we can certainly finish best of the rest as Magnussen moves himself up to 9th now. But we got 5th and 6th in... where was it? We got 5th and 6th. Was it Japan? I think. And we could well be on for something similar here. Now, maybe a little bit of inexperience there by Sargeant, letting Hamilton get behind to get DRS. He's possibly going to come straight back past. Or possibly not. Now, who's this in front of us? That looks like a lapped car. And, well, let's see if we can keep Hamilton behind us down this straight. We might have enough to start to drive away. Now, how's Magnussen doing back here? He's currently stuck behind Gasly. Now, Magnussen might find himself in the patented DRS train and find life a little bit more difficult to get moves done. We can probably go and put him on aggressive because his tyre life is looking okay for now. Sargeant has broken DRS to Hamilton, so that is amazing. And if we look at last lap times, he is faster than Sainz. Verstappen is in a different league, but he's doing faster lap times than Perez and Leclerc as well. So, I mean, there could there be even more in this for Sargeant? We need to get through with Magnussen, though. We need to get past this mob. They are starting to become a bit of a problem for us. 10 laps to go. Can we get one down the outside here? Come on, K-Mag. He has swept up Gasly. Now he's got the two... Oh, wait. No, I spoke too soon. Surely, though. Oh, Magnussen's battery's empty. That's at a poor time for that to happen. And if we go back to Sargeant, Sargeant is within DRS range of Sainz in front of him. Now, does Sainz have damage? He has fallen away a long, long way. We've got Magnussen now still stuck behind these guys. And you just worry he's actually not going to be able to find a way past. But Sargeant is now on the back of the Ferrari. Can he get a move done on the hard-tired Ferrari? He can. Sweeps around the outside for P4. Come on, Sargeant. Now, if we look at last lap times, 1:21, he's about a second faster than Perez. He's going faster again than Verstappen, although Verstappen has just overtaken Perez. I mean, well, I don't know where this ends for Sargeant. He just, what it needs to not end is in the fence. He just needs to keep it going here. Magnussen has, well, Gasly has got past these two. Magnussen needs to get this done. And he needs to get it done sooner rather than later. He's got a big tyre advantage on everybody in front of him, and he can't. There we go. Can he sweep around now inside of Denny Rick? Can he make it stick this time? I think he can, and if he gets DRS on Hamilton, could he get the double overtake? Could he get the double overtake? Go on, K-Mag, down the outside. That should be job done. Now he's got to pin his ears back and try and get after Gasly. Now, if we go back to Sargeant, he does still have Sainz hanging around the back of him. Is this Norris in front of us a lap down, perhaps? I think. And then we've got Perez and Leclerc. Verstappen's gone to the front. But if we sort of look out the rear vision, we can see that... is that Magnussen? No, it's Gasly. Now, who is that? That's Sainz behind us and somebody. Who's behind Sainz? Must be a lapped car, maybe? New fastest lap of the race for K-Mag. All right, so that could be a bonus point for him as well. A 1:19.7. It shows he does have a lot of pace in his car. If he can just get this move done, then we could be on... Could he run down Sainz, I wonder? Sainz must have damage. Surely. Round the outside, that should be job done there on Gasly. Now we've just got to try and break the DRS to him. And I'm slightly concerned about tyre wear with Magnussen, but he should be okay. Sargeant's probably got a little bit he can use. If we just can try and break the DRS to Sainz with Sargeant, that would be huge. We haven't done it yet. We've still got Gasly somewhat behind us with K-Mag. He's a little ways back, though. The DRS is not too powerful at Mexico, but it certainly brings him back up. And he's going to have a big chance. Is he at the end of this straight? If we can go defensive, K-Mag, please. Oh, okay, that should be fine. Oh, I'm going to go that way, don't we? Get to the onboard. Sargeant almost broken the DRS to Sainz. And Perez is not a million miles away. Is that Perez in front? I think that is Perez in front, you know. Could Logan Sargeant be on for a podium finish? 4 laps to go. Come on, Logan Sargeant. He's in DRS range of Sergio Perez. The tyres are going to get to the end. There's no problem there. He doesn't have DRS this lap, but next lap he will. Well, I did not expect this. The safety car was perfectly timed. Nobody else took advantage of it. And as bad as I messed up the strategy in Austin, and I did mess it up bad in Austin, particularly with K-Mag, I just may have pulled a blinder here. Round the outside. Go on, Logan Sargeant. Has he got it done? I think he has. He's up into 3rd. And now on DRS, are we going to see Perez come back past us? He's holding it. He's holding it. We've just got to be a little bit careful getting petrol to the end here. And we can see behind K-Mag. Is that K-Mag behind? No, it's Sainz. Okay, we've got it. We've just got to back off that now. Tyres are okay. Sainz is behind Perez. Magnussen has still got Gasly behind. He's got a little bit of work to do here. But I think we can see that train. But this is all about Logan Sargeant and seeing if he can... I mean, he's pulling out a gap to Perez. It's the DRS that's going to suck him back every lap. But Logan Sargeant is looking good for only our 2nd podium as a team, his 1st of his career. Perez is right there. We just saw his wing down the outside. He's coming back. Can we go... keep that inside line there? No, Perez has got him back. It's not done yet. 2 laps to go. And he gets him back. Sargeant has the faster, he's sort of the faster driver, isn't he? But the DRS is just keeping Perez where he needs to be right now. Are we going to see him come back? Not as of yet. It's this straight here where it's the risk, isn't it? And we don't really have the battery power. I wonder if Perez was really draining the battery there, trying to get back past him. Because he's not been able to manage it again there. He is just annoyingly sticking around, isn't he? Let's go to off-board. This is... well, this is so tense. We're about to start the last lap of the race. Logan Sargeant in a podium position. Let's use up as much of the petrol as we can.
Starting last lap.
He can burn these tyres, as can Magnussen at this point.
Push.
Magnussen just needs to try and stay ahead of Gasly. That's all we can really want from him. We can see him behind there. And he's done okay. We need to go off the petrol a little bit there, though.
Okay, more lift and coast, please.
Can we drain the battery? We've got Gasly alongside Magnussen in the background. Have we done enough here? Sargeant, he's still ahead, is he? Oh, Magnussen has lost out.
Keep concentrating.
Magnussen has lost out to Gasly. Can he get that position back? That is going to be the big question, isn't it? You go on overtake. You go on defend. And, well, we need Sargeant to defend. Yeah, Sargeant to defend. We need Magnussen to get that position back if he can. He's only got one DRS zone to do it. But if Perez cannot get past down this straight, I don't know where he's going to find a way past. He can't. Sargeant defends his line nicely. Magnussen looks like he has indeed lost out to Gasly, which is a real shame. But Logan Sargeant rounds the final corner, and it is a podium for our American driver in Mexico. Well done indeed, and K-Mag comes home 7th. So disappointingly, no podium cutscene, but K-Mag also got the fastest lap. So, I mean, I said we needed to catch Alpine by 10 points a race. We've just closed in, what, 20-odd points in that race. So maybe we could be on for 5th in the Constructors as well. But what a race from Logan Sargeant. I could not be any happier with how he did there. Absolutely superb. K-Mag moves above Alonso up to 8th. And we see Sargeant up to 14th now, ahead of Lando Norris, I'm assuming, on podium finishes. Lando doesn't have any of those. So that is absolutely huge. The Constructors, suddenly, we are only 8 points back of Alpine. It is very, very much game on for 5th. We don't have to worry about anybody behind us. No one's going to catch us from there. And with 2 races to go, we need to be 9 points better than Alpine to claim 5th in the Constructors. So a wonderful race. If you have enjoyed that, make sure you hit thumbs up. A first podium for our American Logan Sargeant. I can safely say that is the first American on the podium since Michael Andretti at Imola, stuff that up, at Monza back in 90, was it 93? He was in Formula 1, 94, somewhere around there. So many, many decades. And he's got a development point to boot. If you have enjoyed that as well, make sure you hit thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you next time for Brazil. And let me know in the comments, can we run down the Alpines on current form? We might get Alfa Romeo as well. Take care.